How you doing, everybody, and welcome back to Dicey Decisions, to a different tune, where we roll dice, spin stories, and finish up a little arc here. So this is officially the last episode of this little mini arc, and hopefully the dryer, which is obnoxiously loud, is not absolutely ruining the quality of my audio. Probably is, though. Well, yeah, so this is the last episode. It's a bit of an epilogue episode, hence the title finale. So what I have decided to do is have two Dicey Spotlights today, because this is a slightly shorter episode, and so I want to fill that time just a little bit more. So the first one on our list is POC and TTRPGs. I've mentioned them before on this podcast a while ago, actually, but I wanted to specifically talk about a project that is going on. It is called The Bone Herder. It is a Kickstarter for an Afropunk fantasy horror comic about a little girl and her mentor who are basically like prophesied chosen people to go around from village to village and just kill people who are marked for death and then flay their bones. So that's a thing. It's a Kickstarter. It has 4 days left on it. It already has, as of the time of recording, the 63,000, probably 64,000 in a few minutes, already raised. However, if we get in all the way to 120,000, if they get all the way to 120,000, they will run a one-shot tabletop game based off of the lore in this universe, and it's so interesting, and I really want to see that happen. So go donate, go check it out, back this Kickstarter. It's really fucking cool. I'm going to put a link for it in the description down below if you are lazy and don't want to. It is kickstarter.com/projects/The Bone Herder. Bone herder as in like a shepherd who herds bones. So yeah, there's that. The second one is a little more familiar for those who have already listened to this show. I want to once again shout out the illustrious, the wonderful, the very attractive Gabe James Games, who has finished his alternative ability score modifier modules. It's completely done. It has all of the art to it. Hopefully soon he will add a bunch of extra stuff like the Artificer, which he was so kind to allow me to DM him and kind of pick his brain about what he thinks would work for that. And I'm trying to find the link to it. Where is it? There you are. I'm going to have to cut so much out of this intro. Fuck it, I'm just keeping half of this in. It has all of the 12 base classes for Dungeons & Dragons 5e. It's got all of this cool stuff. Every single class has art, and it's all really cool and really pretty, and you should check it out. And all of them are just, especially the Paladin. The Paladin is very attractive. Go look at that shit. Yeah, that's kind of all I got. Go support Gabe at patreon.com/mythicgrove. Follow at Gabe James Games on Twitter. Follow at Tellinear, which is Rachel Denton, who did all of the character artists. The logo artist, Nina Cruz, at Nina Wolverina. And absolutely show some love to the editors who helped make this thing a reality. Sarah Davis, at Serendipity Cos. I'm gonna link all this in the description. I'm not gonna be able to spell that. And Makenzie De Armas at Makenzie Lane DA. This has been officially the longest and most disastrous of my episode intros. And with that, please enjoy this episode of Dicey Decisions.
The next time we resume, it is
20 years later.
Graduate.
It is about 2 days later.
Oh, graduation.
Classes, for the most part, had been canceled, mainly due to,
one of the main professors being a criminal.
Yeah.
Yes. You all were
exams.
Anyone who was hurt, which I think was just Junie and Meridia.
I was all slightly hurt, but like not really.
I had 6 hit points left.
I
I felt like shit.
I took a total of 4 hit points. 3 of them were for patting Meridia, and 1 of them was for drinking.
I did my job. I was the tank. I feel good about that.
You both were rushed to the infirmary.
Yeah.
You're giving some magical Pepto-Bismol.
Thank you. It was mostly for the anxiety shits.
Maybe you shouldn't drink that much.
I want a fireball.
The next time that you all see each other, really, like, Meridia has been in the infirmary, and she was not harmed very much, but she's mostly kept in solitude. She seems to be somewhat in shock. You have a look on your face, Mike.
I'm just thinking about the nipples thing.
Can Tosh go to visit her once or twice?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know. You allowed visitors?
Yeah, I will say that
next to each other.
No, actually, she's in solitude. Like, once they realized that her injuries were more mental than physical, they tried to keep her, kind of soothed more than healed.
Am I visited during my recovery?
I do visit you, and I brought you some chocolates and snuck you a flask.
I was actually going to say that the head nurse is very much like not used to having students injured so grievously, and so she basically says, like, you guys come by one day, just like, hey, we're gonna visit now, and she's like, no, can't. Oh. You have to schedule. Like, she's trying to do this very like.
Can I like debate with her? It's like they're during the time, and their emotional comfort is what we think they need.
I'm not telling you can't ever visit. I'm telling you I need a little bit of preparation.
While she's distracting her, I'm gonna roll a stealth check and see if I can just sneak in tiny blind child.
God damn it, guys! I'm trying to set up like an emotional moment for the entire party, and you're splitting the goddamn emotional moment.
Okay, fine. Never mind.
We'll make an appointment.
An appointment, God.
The appointment is literally the next day that classes would be held. You guys are given special leave to come to afternoon classes rather than your morning schedule.
Wonderful.
And so yes, the nurse lets Juniper lets Cadence and Toshiko in, and earlier this morning, Juniper, you and Meridia were moved into the same sort of, like, area. Any of her wounds seem to have been healed, but she is still very quiet, distant. You guys are both given breakfast. She's not even touched it. But you've also seen her for the past couple of days, and she is awake and not, like, lashing out when people come close. So that is an improvement. So we open this scene as Toshiko and Cadence walk into this little curtained off, like, nurses area with 2, like, infirmary beds. Junie, by the way, you've been fully healed by this point. I feel
fine.
Sore, but right as rain.
At any point before this, would I have had the chance to cast Identify on Meridia?
With what intent?
To learn if there are any magical or otherworldly effects that are upon her. Or
I
if
won't
it's
make you
just
spend the spell.
PTSD.
I will not make you spend the spell. This is just PTSD.
Okay.
So, Cadence and Toshiko, you walk into Juniper, probably eating some breakfast. It's the same food that's down in the Great Hall.
Yeah. Just as skimpy as ever.
Come in.
She'll come in.
God. It's like, God, I'm just imagining like Juniper, like how she is wearing, like, I imagine Juniper wearing like one of those
Hospital gowns,
robes.
ass
Yeah, but,
out.
no, like backwards though.
Backwards!
I was gonna make almost the same joke.
It's just a cape.
Yeah, so just like the cape, I'm like, oh God. Juniper.
Yes.
I did sneak in a flask for her. I'm like, hey.
Thank you.
I also did try my best to bring in somewhat arranged vase of flowers for Lydia. What I tried to remember as the flowers that she got for all three of us on the first day.
So,
Don't really
Juniper's.
remember all of them.
So it was Juniper,
Azaleas and poppies.
azaleas. It probably would have been yellow poppies
Yeah, yellow poppies.
for Cadence, and then you're gonna throw in
like,
chamomile. And did you want to throw in what we determined last week is the flower that we identify with Meridia,
Yeah,
which is red spider lilies?
yeah, like a centerpiece.
And so
They're arranged in a very. Tried to arrange them by color and in a nice way, but it is not that great looking.
it is rudimentary at best.
Not to my specialty.
So are you going to say anything as you come in towards Meridia?
She awake?
Yes, she is awake. She is holding a fork with a link of sausage on it. But it is just just above the plate, like she's mostly going through the motions, but then just stopped.
Put down the vase by her bed, and I look to her and I'm like, you should eat to gain some strength. A friend once told me that. I don't know, sound advice.
You see her eyes come slightly more into focus, and they look to the flowers first. And you can see her set down the fork, move like she leans towards the arrangement, and slowly moves things around.
Making it look better.
Yes.
There we go.
And
Cadence, she said you did a shitty job.
and she, as she speaks, this is, Junie, this is the first time you've heard her speak since that fight. And she speaks in this raspy, just clearly a voice that has not been used in 2.5 days. And she just says, "You are a quick study, Cadence." And she just lifts out one of the poppies, one of the yellow poppies, and just kind of puts it into her own hair and sits back.
I think you're a very strong person. That's that. How are you feeling?
During that fight, I was going to strike down Kuiper. But Kelemvor stopped me. It was not my place to judge him. Not his final judgment, at least. I attempted to muscle through the warnings that he gave, and I was punished.
I understand having an odd relationship with some sort of higher being. I reluctantly have one with family deity of my own. But I don't think you were in the wrong for trying to take action against Kuiper.
Yeah, he deserved it.
But your deity may have stopped you from doing something that you would have regretted.
This I know is true. I shall have to atone. But for now, I'm alive.
Or you could just be a godless heathen like me.
Don't.
You actually see her, like, snicker just a little bit at that.
This is great. Like, seriously, before you two got here, she didn't say anything. I've been tits out this whole time, not a peep.
Meridia,
Lasers.
Yes?
do you still have the baton?
No. It
Did
was... It was taken from me by the headmaster. And as she says that, you hear a soft knock on the door behind you guys.
It's Dumbledore!
It's Crucible.
Was Crucible.
I like...
You know, it wasn't going to be, but this seems like the right moment.
I like...
the headmaster?
I shift my thing around.
The head nurse, opens the door and just says, "Oh, Instructor Crucible, it is strange to... I suppose it's not. Go on back." Thank you. And Crucible, in all of his stained glass glory, walks back, just not a care in the world. Hello, my students. I have missed you all.
We've had a time.
We finished our exam.
Yes, the information was relayed to me by the head priest. You all performed admirably.
First of all, we got Kuiper arrested.
Yeah, that was a good bonus. Fuck that guy.
It is strange. He was cordial prior to my instruction here. Perhaps it is my presence that enraged him so.
Nah, don't blame yourself. He was a robacist.
He had that hate in his heart at all times.
You represented a threat. We all represented a threat. We were proof that his way of thinking wasn't correct. Clearly, his art was not superior.
He was
You are
right to
correct.
be afraid.
If you are all prepared, there is someone who would like to speak with you.
I might be a little underdressed.
You have the time to change, Juniper.
I will still be underdressed no matter what I wear. That was the joke.
What you typically wear will be insufficient, however, I do not think I can stop you.
Yeah, I got nothing.
I will give you all a moment to prepare. And he turns around and walks back out of the infirmary.
What if it's Quaper? No, it's probably not Quaper.
Just ask once, we could beat him again.
And I'll do it naked this time, I guess.
Meridia, I assume, Cadence, you're still standing pretty close to Meridia?
Yeah.
You can see that she is, like, regained color. And as it's very clear that there's important things to be taken care of, she just starts shoveling food into her mouth, just complete uncaring of, like, chewing. You're pretty sure you see just food going whole down her throat, like...
All right.
Tashiko
And you see her, like,
over.
fixing her hair, she's tying it back properly, like, she's trying to comb fingers through it.
Tashiko walks next to Meridia, doesn't say anything, just pulls a small little travel bottle of rum and just pops it on the table next to her.
I wanted to narrate, and if this was a home game, that she would just face plant into the rum. But no, she probably just... She twists off the cap, sniffs it, just... Back on, tucks it away.
Again, chasers. I push, like, a cup of juice.
She just chugs the juice, and is just...
I mean, you drink it after you drink the alcohol. That's what chaser means.
You notice that she didn't actually drink any of the alcohol. She smelled the bottle and had that violent reaction.
Okay.
And after this, sort of frantic movement from her, she goes behind one of the curtains and comes back dressed in her typical, pastel yellow outfit, like pretty much exactly as you saw her 2 nights ago. The clothing has been cleaned, it's been ironed and maintained. Her hair still looks disheveled. She's still clearly, spent 2 days, possibly unresponsive. But she is back among the living, so to speak. And she just stands right next to Cadence and slowly, makes her reach for her hand.
I take it. I also, lean down to talk to her. I see that you're trying, but if you're not up to task, you don't have to push yourself.
I will sleep for at least 18 hours after this meeting.
Right then.
I sigh and, get up, just toss the gown aside, start wrapping myself up, okay, I guess if we're all getting dressed.
Okay.
It's nothing you haven't seen before, Cadence!
Honestly, I'm just glad that there's no lasers.
Why would you think there would be lasers? What are you talking about?
Yes, where's that even coming from, Cadence? Cadence, do you need to spend some time here?
Reality?
Are you okay? Cadence, you alright, honey?
A moment to,
I just had this weird dream, but there were lasers coming out of your nipples. I don't know why.
So, once you go outside, Crucible is waiting for you, and he leads you down to the Great Hall. No, scratch that. He leads you from the infirmary down to the classroom wing of the school. And you can see him start to go towards your typical hallway, and this feels... it's dingy, it's dirty, it's run down. But goddamn, it's yours. And he stops and turns and says, "That is right. We are not going to our classroom. It is not our classroom anymore." And he turns around and leads you into one of the orchestra performance halls. It is not the largest, but there are proper lights and seating, and things seem to have been maintained within the last couple of years. And standing down on the stage, discussing something quietly, are the tall silver dragonborn that you recognize as Headmaster Uldric, and a shorter figure, probably maybe 2.5 feet tall, dressed in just the most ridiculous of finery. But really the first thing that stands out to you is that he does not seem to have a typical face. He has an almost pointed muzzle with small rounded ears. And as you all enter, they cease their talking, and the headmaster says, "So there are the heroes of the day.
Is he talking
How are
to
you
a
all
kobold?
feeling?"
Is he talking to a kobold? What's going on?
You don't know.
Okay.
How are you all feeling? And he says this in this very rich, warm, pleasant voice.
He's not the one who had the super high, annoying voice?
That was like the orc
No.
dude.
That was Xavier, the
Gotcha.
groundskeeper.
Feeling pretty damn great.
As you can see, 2 of our classmates are in recovery.
Yes, and I thank you all for mustering the courage and strength to come here today.
I
This
hope that you can see that they deserve compensation. All of us do.
Oh, trust me, the compensation that I could provide will be nothing compared to our honored guest. And he motions to this short figure next to him. Does anybody have is local still a skill?
Nah, not in 5e. I guess that's been lumped into history.
Yeah. Anybody want to make a history check? Anybody who's proficient?
I'm not proficient.
I am. I will do.
Cadence
Not
gets to know
proficient,
all the
but I have
things.
+6 to history.
I will let Cadence will be the one to make this check then.
Righty. That was not a good roll. But we do have like more to it, so that'll at least be a 13.
Yeah, no, you barely needed like a 5 to pass this check.
Okay.
It dawns on you. You know, there's lights down on the stage. That's how the room is being lit. So it took you a second for your eyes to adjust. This figure is the enigmatic, eccentric, and oftentimes questioned but altogether beloved ruler of this land.
Oh.
You only know him as the Mouse King of Doomendor.
God fucking damn it! Motherfucker!
Like I don't know this joke, but okay.
It was one of my first D&D characters.
Oh, okay.
Tashiko bows respectfully.
You don't know that.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, that's right. I don't.
Cadence is the only one who makes this connection.
I squeeze Meridia's hand, and then I do like an at the waist bow and say, "An honor to meet you, what's the proper way to address royalty? Fuck, I don't know.
Sire, your highness.
My
Highness?
liege.
He's not my liege. Fuck that. Highness.
And then as she says that, Tashiko will bow.
And
Yeah.
then just as like a way to get everyone else to be like,
Yeah, this is when you guys, the rest of you realize, oh shit, that is the king of Doomendor.
This land that we're in that you didn't want to tell me about until now. You bastard.
And as you all, like, bow very respectfully,
I curtsy.
this diminutive figure, like, waves his little, like, mousy hands, just, no, there is no need for all of this pomp and circumstance. We are all equals in this room. I once attended this academy years and years and years ago. Under your father, actually. And he points up towards Uldric when he says that. And he says, I wanted to meet the people who embodied exactly what I wanted out of this academy. This is why I sent all of this money into it.
How old is he? I whisper as he's pontificating.
And he just says, I enjoyed being a music student here, but really, I'm not very good. And the headmaster's like, no, your highness, there is no need to belittle. And he just thwaps the headmaster on the arm. Just, I know I am shit. Alright? And then he just...
Overrated. Anyway.
Exactly right. You're the... I read up on you all. You... And he points at you, Cadence. You're the speaker, right?
Correct.
And he just scurries up the staircase towards you and gets, like... I mean, he's only, like, 2.5 feet tall, so he's, like, still having to look up at you.
Look at my kneecaps.
And he just goes... You're going to go very far. I assure you.
I hope so.
As all orators do. You might even be a ruler one day, like I am. And he just starts laughing uproariously. And he looks to the rest of you and just says, your exploits were not downplayed, I imagine. Much of us are bards, but we don't embellish when the story is so good that it doesn't need embellishing. That Kuiper, I never liked that guy. Really, he would always offer to get my plate. I mean, yes, but he would always offer to get my plate, and he would just come back with cheese.
Yes, very racist.
Now, granted, I fucking love cheese.
Like
But the xenophobia is not what we were going for.
Exactly. So, what does this mean for our brave heroes? Well,
Sorry,
you were speaking up, Miss Sculptor. And he, like,
Yes,
literally
we
sits
were.
there, like, on bated breath.
we were only acting as we would have expected someone going to this prestigious school would. And the only thing that we ask is that we're treated like people who go to this prestigious school.
And you can see him just, like, tenting his fingers, like, excitedly the more and more you're saying. He's just like, this is exactly the kind of students that I want to be here. Don't worry. Any financial needs you might have, all taken care of. Full rides, how do you phrase it, Uldric? They will have their fees, their dorms, everything waived. Yes, of course. And I will personally paying you from my coffers for dealing with this threat to my most prestigious academy.
The people who went after Kuiper before us, have they been found? Do we know what happened?
The headmaster speaks up now and says, we have started to investigate. Some of them have been found. Unfortunately, we have had to return their bodies to their families.
The people that he targeted, were they musically inclined?
And the headmasters, no, they weren't.
That's because he was racist.
feel that a good motion to going forward at this point is to start diversifying both your faculty and your students in a way that it's not only music based, but more
multifaceted.
There we go. Thank you.
Like Crucible.
I like Crucible.
Oh, is that the robot? Is that the robot out there? And you can see that, like, he actually kind of hides behind you slightly, Toshiko.
Crucible, step forward.
Crucible steps forward.
Roleplay more characters, Troy.
What is it that you need, students?
That's a mouse.
Yes, that is our leader, the Mouse King.
Our teacher here has provided so much for us, especially since all of us are of such diverse disciplines. I believe that he needs more
Tenure.
Due compensation.
Compensation, tenure, and also maybe more faculty under his watch.
Because he knows how to do it right.
Exactly.
And the headmaster says, "Oh yes, that's already been in the plan. This all started shortly after we granted Crucible himself more funds to build the alternative performance division that were taken from Kuiper's orchestral division."
God, what a bitter little shit.
We will see to it that Crucible is highly commended for his actions and is not left to instruct you and any further students alone.
I give Crucible a thumbs up.
He gives you just a very, like, robotic thumbs up. And, the headmaster finally seems to, like, regain his... Not the headmaster, the Mouse King seems to regain his courage and just... Yes! No more classes! For the rest of the year! Just take the whole year off!
Yes! Oh, I would like independent study, actually.
We've just started the year. We came.
The headmaster is just like, Your Highness, well, I respect what you do. They've only been in school for 2 weeks.
We came here to learn, Your Highness.
And the Mouse King just, I know that. And he just kind of looks exasperated, like, you are everything that a bard should be, and yet you're still such a stick in the mud. Fine. You all have to go to classes still. But
Oh, darn.
at the end of the year, I'm throwing you the biggest damn party you've ever seen!
Oh, hell yeah. Hells? Hell. Hells.
I don't know.
And at that, the Mouse King just, come, headmaster, we must talk about your father some more. That damn dragon fucker. And he just walks out. The headmaster is just mortified, like...
Is that it?
Headmaster, I had one more request if we are being given accolades.
Yes?
The baton. Make sure
It
it's
is-
destroyed.
Yes, we were studying it for a time, but it is going to be destroyed. Do not fret, Toshiko.
Do I believe him?
Yes. Wholeheartedly.
Alright.
And he just slowly walks out of the room, leaving the four of you and Crucible.
Was the dragon a top or a bottom, do you think?
I don't want to think about my headmaster fuck.
Wait, no,
It would be
what?
It would be the headmaster's father.
Yeah, the dead guy.
Oh. Bottom.
Yeah.
Meridia's just like, I cannot believe that this is the first real conversation I'm having with you all outside of everything that just happened, but it is so on brand.
we're getting along.
Can I pull everyone into a group hug?
Yeah.
Including Crucible?
Crucible just robotically just hugs all 4 of you.
Hey.
And Meridia sneaks a little kiss on the cheek of Cadence.
Oh my god.
Aw, yay.
Pink turquoise. Ah.
And Crucible, in that last moment, just says, "So, it is time to resume our studies, students."
I break the nearest table.
And that's where we're going to end it.
I had to bring it full circle.
Oh, of course.
Yay! We did it! We finished the campaign!
All right,
This is the
so I'm
first
not sure
campaign
how
I've ever finished.
So I'm not sure how much of the
So that's going to be it for this episode. Please. I forgot my fucking outro. Thank you all so much for being here. If you are listening to this on iTunes, please be sure to leave us a review because it super duper helps us out. And if you're watching on YouTube, which I hope you are, be sure to subscribe, leave a comment about your favorite part, and your predictions for the next episode, which is going to be a return to the main campaign. Yes, you heard it right. We are going back to the wonderful original story of Dicey Decisions with Helga, Katrina, Soot, and Finnan, which I am fucking excited. We already actually recorded our first episode of that, and we're gonna be recording another one in just a couple of days, and I'm so excited. That's great. It's awesome. We're starting a whole new arc. We're kind of opening with a bit of downtime for the first couple of episodes, so everyone has a chance to really get back into their shoes. Everyone is level 7 now, which is really exciting. So yeah, that's all that really cool stuff. Once again, go and support the Kickstarter for the Bone Flayer. The Bone Herder, not the Bone Flayer. Well, they flay bones, but it's called the Bone Herder. Go support it, because I want to see that turn into a TTRPG. Only 4 days left. Go check it out. And also, a huge thanks to Gabe for being so patient with me. And I really hope that the class modifier module is just... it continues to grow, and we get more and more awesome stuff out of Mythic Grove. And go follow at Gabe James Games, and I will be putting so many links in the description. Please just scroll down and click on all the links in the description. Show some love to these people, especially now with all this turmoil in the TTRPG community. It's really important to show support to those who truly, truly deserve it and really need it. So be generous, be giving, be good to each other. And while you're doing that, go check out our Patreon at patreon.com/dicey-decisions. There's cool stuff, fun bonuses, and helps us keep the lights on, and actually will probably encourage me to actually put stuff on that Patreon, because I haven't put anything on that Patreon in like 3 months, because nobody's looking. So go look, and maybe I'll be encouraged to write some cool lore, which I have so much. Anyone in the party can tell you I have too much lore. I might even release, actually, perhaps a special paladin oath that I wrote specifically for Finnan. You might want to take a look at that. Anyway, thank you all so much for being here. Please be safe, share some love, and tell a story. Good night.